Hey guys, we're going to do a video over jug fishing, and we'll first start off what jug fishing is. It is typically for catfish on a lake or a river, and right here is what I have found to be the best jug setup, and we've been doing this for probably 15, almost 20 years now. And this is a pool noodle that you guys would purchase at Walmart, along with a 1/4-inch PVC pipe that will go through there, and then I've got it capped on the end. So I use braided line, and I'll run it through, put it through that cap, glue that cap, and then tie it on the other end, and this will essentially be like a bobber for you. And then once we get on down here, this braided line, and this is typically anywhere between 15 to 20 foot length, I will have these little swivels there. And what I use for a hook is another swivel with a hook there, where I am able to take these on and off for the easiness of storage and not getting those things all tangled up. And then that has also got a swivel, so if a fish is on there, then you've got it. And then we use these little hooks, and they're Circle C, size 5. You know, you guys can determine what size of hook you guys want, but this is a pretty cool little feature in regards to just being able to clip on there, and if that catfish rolls, then you've actually got several swivels on there, so that fish will not get off. And we've pulled up fish anywhere between, a pound to well over 30 with these. I believe the biggest one that we have pulled up on this was around 40 pound. There was a blue over there in Oklahoma, and then I've had the biggest gar that I've ever seen in my life on one of these. But unfortunately, we didn't get the net in time, and he did. I go ahead and strip that line. And I guess I will talk about that hook. So basically, I've got weed eater string, is what that is 90. It's 90 or 9/10 or whatever that thing is, 0.995. And then I've just smashed those things in there when I run the hook and the swivel in there. And I will typically run 2 to 3 of these swivels along here. I'll space them out anywhere between 4 and 5 foot. This one actually has only 2 swivels, but the good thing is that line, if you wanted to have something 4 foot from the bottom, you could definitely just add more. So check your regulations in regards to that. And then the very last thing that we've got is the weight of this, and you'll see a variation between your regular sinkers, anything between a 1 ounce, 3 ounce, whatever you guys have got. But one item I developed there is these little weights right here, and this I believe is a 2-inch PVC pipe. Well, I've had these things for years, and I basically just put an eye bolt through there and run a washer and a nut on the other end, and then fill that with concrete, put a little bit of water in there, and then you're good to go. So basically, I will put that on the bottom. We'll start feeding our hooks in through there, and then we'll just wait and see what happens. And those of you guys that have done this numerous times, you understand that the noodle or whatever you guys have got, typically when it has a fish on it, it will be upright like that, or it'll be moving along there. This is one of the funnest, family-friendly ways of fishing there. But definitely check your guys' regulations out before you guys get going there. But again, we'll kind of walk through this one last time. I've got the PVC weight there with the little swivel hooks. Very easy to store. And then as you progress up towards your actual float, you'll have your swivels that on there, whether you have 2, 4, whatever you guys have available or want to do. And then when you get into the aspect of where to stick these, stick it, put them in a variety of spots. And what I'll typically do is I'll run jugs in one area for a little bit, and if I don't, have any fish come on there, then I'll move, all of them or maybe half of them to a different location or a different depth out there, and then go from there. But the one thing you will run into is if you do not have a good quality weight system, you will be chasing these things all over the countryside. So for your benefit, as well as other boaters and other fishermen out there, please make sure you follow the regulations and have those things where they are not going to be all twisted up in somebody's prop if they end up running those over due to the waves and just not seeing them there. So the very last thing I do want to talk about is every state's going to be slightly different, but I always carry a Sharpie and then duct tape. As you guys can see, I've got my name and then my conservation number for that state that I'm using. Again, check your regulations. You may need to add additional information on there, but that should get you guys a really good quality start on jug fishing, and you guys should have a great family experience doing so. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.